may I help you?
Hi, Maya. Can I speak to Rick, please?
Yes, can I have your name so I can let him know who's on the line?
Dave. How you doing?
Pretty good, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. I got the parts. So I'm gonna install them on the car, and usually gonna probably be closed when I turn the key on this thing. I just wanted to write down the fuel pressure settings that you were telling me yesterday, because I did not write them down, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So the first from the static one on the DI side over there,
Okay.
the one that doesn't have the boost reference is going to be 58 psi.
58. Okay.
And then the one on the driver's side is going to be the port reference regulator, and that one's going to be, you could probably start with the setting of say 45 without the hose plugged in.
Alright guys, we just took the stock fuel rails out and we just put in the Forbes Innovation rails. They basically just snap in. They supply bolts, new hex bolts. You see that? We're not going to bolt it down yet. These bolts actually are torque to spec because they are part of the intake manifold. Okay, 8.8 foot-pounds. I think I'm going to go 10 foot-pounds though, because we're going to put boost. So we'll see. Alright guys, so we're going to mount the port side fuel pressure regulator right here on the shock tower. I just drilled out some holes and we are going to mount it in there. I plan on getting rid of this coolant box here, maybe relocating it closer with a different style. So, but for the time being, it's not really that big of a deal. All right, guys. So on the driver's side of the car, we're going to remove these panels, this panel here, and then this panel. We're going to start to run the fuel line up to the motor, the return line, and the fuel line. Looks like the driver's side is going to be the best suitable spot for this. This is also where the factory fuel lines are ran. So let me get this panel down and see what we got to do here. Number 30 Torx. All right, now we're going to remove this back panel. All right, guys, it looks like I was able to sneak the hose up right there in the corner and bend it around and get it to go on top of the tank and get it into the cabin. So that looks like that's going to be the location. I did try a bunch of other spots and I wasn't able to get anything in between the tank and the chassis. So this spot looks like it's going to be the spot. Let's see if we can get some footage right here from inside the car. This is the line up. You see how it came up right up in that corner. Now I wasn't able to get the fitting on it and do it. I'm gonna have to put the fitting on it in the car and just turn it and get it into these. They're actually marked feed and return. So just want to show you guys it is possible. I did not have to remove or loosen the gas tank. I was able to sneak it up in that corner underneath as I showed you. So I'm gonna put a fitting on it and run it down and run it into the filter and then do the other line. This really isn't how you're supposed to do it, but I kind of had no choice. So because I wasn't able to put the fitting on the line before I snuck it up beside the tank. So alright guys, we're gonna mount the pump, not the pump, I'm sorry, the filter right here. It looks like we're gonna clear the plastic cover and stuff. I put some two-sided tape on the back side of here just to cushion it against these brake lines and stock fuel line, and I'm just gonna zip tie it up there. All right, we're just gonna zip tie the feed line up to the stock fuel line here. In the future, I'll probably take all this stuff out. I don't really plan on getting rid of this car, so I'll probably just take all the stock fuel line out at some point, not right away. Little weight reduction, but it's not that heavy. All right, now we're just gonna run the line. I'm gonna go pull it down lower and run it up from the top to the bottom. And it's gonna go into the first regulator. All right, guys, so we ran the fuel line down. It's actually a really nice cutout here. This is right underneath of the master cylinder for the brake, and it comes down right out in the wheel well. You can also see I have my one boost controller up there. I actually have one in each wheel well for each turbo. Really also a nice spot. Plus, when you put the wheel skirt back in, this is all protected. Ain't no water or nothing getting in there. So we're gonna run this down. We're gonna cut it and tie it into the filter. All right, guys, she's all ran right there. I actually removed that plate right here, just so I can make everything tight and right back there, make sure nothing gets kinked, and zip tie everything together and keep it all nice. She ran down, and she goes into the filter. We're gonna start on the return line. All right, guys, it's really starting to come together here. We got the return ran. Got it through there as well. Okay. Comes down. We gotta zip tie it up still. Coming down. We were able to sneak it right back up in the same spot where we put the feed. I trimmed these down because I had a little extra spot for a line that's not there, just so I can put both hoses up beside each other and tuck them away. I also trimmed this one too. You see this one here? That one there I trimmed, just so I can tuck the line up in there. So it's coming together. That's the return. It's ran. We're just gonna button this up a little bit, and we'll go up on the top side. All right, guys. Let me show you guys what we did here. All right, so it's all hooked up. Hoses are ran. Fuel lines are ran. Harness is plugged in. This is the fuel sending, or the fuel level wires. Wasn't focused there. These are fuel level wires. I'm not sure if these are like if it matters the polarity on these, because honestly I think I might have hooked them up both ways and they both came on, both red fuel. So, but whatever. Here's the harness for the controller for the pumps. Here's the factory plug. I had to actually push this through here to keep this all sealed because of the fuel level wires. So now it has to go through. So I just taped up the factory plug just to keep it from getting weatherized, you know, just in case for some reason. Then I put a stock fuel pump back in here. The wires there, and it's good. So hope you guys can see this all well. Alright guys, we just set the fuel pressure. The fuel system is completely hooked up 100%. So I'm a little, it's a kind of a blessing in disguise. I was missing parts because talking to Rick on the phone, I originally had this fuel system hooked up the wrong way. Any conventional fuel system you hook up, fuel pump, the regulator, after regulator, you get your pressure. Not this fuel system. This fuel system regulators are used backwards. In other words, the fuel pump comes right into the high pressure fuel pump, all right, at full pressure out of the tank into this line, into the first regulator, where you adjust pressure there. You adjust pressure by opening the regulator to make it flow through the regulator faster to reduce this pressure. Into the fuel lines, out into the second regulator, basically the same concept. open it or close it to increase or reduce fuel pressure. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise that I didn't have the fuel, some of the pieces that I needed, because I had the system completely hooked up wrong. So very complex. We just set our fuel pressures. Our static side is set at 58. This is right off the pump, all right? And we ran it over here and we set this with static at 45, okay? So very complex, awesome design. It took me a while to really understand it, but it works. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. It's ran very different than your conventional fuel system. So if you're installing this, make sure you understand the way this runs before installing this. What's up, guys? I just want to give you a little rundown on the wiring for this fuel system. Don't mind the mess here. I still have to clean this up, but this wire is obviously the main power wire. This goes right to the battery. It is always hot, always on. There's a fuse block that's up on near the battery just in case there's counters are short. Then you have your ground wire, which I had drilled a hole right here and grounded, okay? Now here's your remote wires, all right? Remote 1 controls only one pump, pump 1, okay? This remote wire I have tied into the factory power wire for the factory fuel pump. I did it this way just in case I was ever in an accident, I rolled the car or something, the inertia switch would still work, okay? So this can be done. This only requires 6.5 volts to turn on, and you know, we're getting 12 volts there. It's only a remote. There's no drain from it. It's just like a relay. So that is right into my factory power line underneath the rear seat. You can tap right in at the fuel pump module. I believe the wire was yellow and green or yellow and purple. You'll see it. It's one of the fatter wires. You can just splice into it. Don't cut it, just splice into it. All right, now these two black wires are actually my Hobbs switch. You see this one wire is right into my first remote, okay? And then the other wire is into my second remote. These two wires run directly to my Hobbs switch. So when that Hobbs switch sees 4 pounds of boost, it just closes the circuit and then puts power into 2. And remote 2 powers pump 2 and 3. So if you have, like, I only have a 2-pump hat, I have to upgrade, but I have a 3-pump switch. So if I had a 3-pump hat, I can only run, like 2 and 3 would only be on one remote. So, you know what I mean? I can only turn 2 and 3 pump on remote 2. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on the way to set this up. This is a really cool idea because you still utilize the safety features of the inertia switch. God forbid something bad is to happen. This is a return fuel system. You don't want to crash the car and the fuel will just keep pumping and there's a fire. So I'm going to go under the hood and I'm going to show you guys where I located the Hobbs switch. All right, guys. Here's my Hobbs switch, okay? I have it on the driver's side because I have my vac boost block here. So this whole block is vac and boost, sorry. So once it receives boost, 4 pounds, it activates. And then these, like I said, it's a closed circuit, so there's only 2 wires. So it just makes a loop once it activates. And I also put an indicator light inside the cockpit, so when this comes on, just for like a fail-safe measure, just in case that this ever fails, when this Hobbs switch turns on, it turns a little indicator light on inside the cockpit that I can see. So just want to give you guys a way of running this stuff. I want to show you the power wire. Here's the power wire. There's a fuse. Okay, I ran it down into this wheel well, and really cool fuel system. Big shout out to Rick over at Fore's Innovation. Awesome, very knowledgeable guy. Thank you for your time. And if you guys ever want to run a fuel system on the 18 with the DI, direct injection and port side, this is the system you want and this is how you run it. So I hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe. God bless and stay tuned.